Is the icon on, Kathy?
Yes. It's on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me explain to y'all what I have just done. I let the deputy go till 1:30 after we finished this morning because I did not realize we were going to be taking this plea. And I can't represent that the courtroom is unlocked. So I have put us on YouTube live stream. I will stop the live stream before we finish, so it won't be preserved, but that will satisfy our obligation to public access. Okay, so if y'all are ready, this is the state of Georgia versus Mr. Harold Williams. This is 19 SC 171241. Today is August 31st, 2021. I am in courtroom 8A, and appearing via the Zoom teleconference platform are the defendant himself appearing via Zoom, Mr. Williams, counsel for the state, Ms. Chinekwu Okum, and counsel for Mr. Williams, Ms. Renee Rockwell. The court reporter is also appearing remote. I have placed our proceedings this afternoon on the court's YouTube live stream for purposes of making the public's business open and accessible to it. And at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Okum if you'd like to proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. This is going on via Zoom, Mr. Williams. Are you okay with that?
Ma'am.
I'm sorry, is that a yes?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Your Honor, state, Mr. Williams, it says he has no objection to that, neither does the state. Mr. Williams, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You can put it down. Your Honor, this is a plea, negotiated plea with the defense. The state is offering that the defendant will plead to count 1. The state is null prosing count 2. The defendant is also having the benefit of the first offender from the state. The state is also asking that after the probation is for 5 years as to count 1, but after 2 years, if he hasn't committed any violations and he has completed his family violence intervention program.
He committed his what?
Family violence intervention program as part of the plea, the rest of it will be suspended. That is the agreement, right, Ms. Rockwell?
That's correct. I was going to ask for one other thing, and I'll wait my turn. And it's just regarding going non-reporting once he finishes his FVIP, which will be about 6 months.
Yes, Your Honor, I forgot that. The states also said that if Mr. Williams has completed the FVIP and had no violations while he completed that, he can go non-reporting till the end of the 2 years. And at the 2 years, it would be suspended.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Williams, would you please state and spell your full name for Madam Court Reporter, please?
First name is Harold, Harold. Middle name is Dean, Dean. Last name is Williams, Williams, and Junior, Jr.
Mr. Williams, are you now taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No, ma'am.
And how old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 35 and I made it to the 11th grade.
Okay. So are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
You understand that you've been charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree as part of the plea agreement. As I just stated, the state is asking that you plead guilty to count 1. You'll be given the benefit of first offender, the pleas to probation, the family violence intervention program, and no further violent contact with Ms. Lovett. As part of your probation.
I'm sorry, excuse me, what was the victim's name? And I need you to slow down, please.
Miss Lovett, I will spell that for you, Lovett.
Thank you.
As part of the plea, after 2 years of no violations, your probation will become suspended. Once you complete the family violence intervention program and you have no violations, your probation will become non-reporting. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead guilty or not guilty to these charges? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Rockwell about the facts and circumstances regarding these charges in this indictment, including any defenses?
Yes.
Do you need any more time to discuss this with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with her services?
Yes, I am.
Do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
Yes.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment, including any with respect to your name?
Yes.
The state is unaware of any other charges. I understand that the CP charge warrants out for the defendants. My understanding from Mr. White today, as he said on the record, and Ms. Rockwell, is that the state is not processing the CP case, and the state is unaware of any other warrants outstanding with this defendant. Ms. Rockwell, do you have any other warrants?
That I'm aware of.
Should I have a warrant?
If I knew of any other warrants that are related to this case, and I do not.
Has your attorney advised you for the minimum and maximum sentences on this case?
Yes.
And as I said, I've said what you're pleading to. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
This is a negotiated plea. You understand that the state has made the recommendation to the court of your sentence, but that the court does not have to accept the recommendation. The court can sentence you to the maximum charge and can run the sentences consecutively to each other. Do you understand that?
I couldn't hear you. It went out.
I said, do you understand
Yes.
that this is a negotiated plea and the state has made the recommendation to the court? The court is not obligated to take this plea, and the court may sentence you to the maximum on each count and to run those charges consecutively. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
As to the cruelty to children in the third degree, that is a misdemeanor. I'm sorry, excuse me, Your Honor. I just have something in my throat. I apologize. As to the misdemeanor,
Repeat
the
that.
maximum is 12 months in probation. As to the battery family violence is 1 to 5 years. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that your sentence includes probation, and while you're on probation, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit, and you'll also be given specific conditions of probation. Your specific condition is that you complete the family violence intervention program. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You are requesting for the First Offender Act, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever pleaded guilty or no contender to any other felony in the state of Georgia or any other jurisdiction?
No, not to my knowledge. No, ma'am.
Have you ever been sentenced as a first offender before?
Well, not that I'm aware of. No.
Has a lawyer explained the First Offender Act to you?
Yes, she did.
You understand that if you violate the terms of your first offender sentence or commit a new offense while on first offender probation, your first offender status could be revoked and you could be adjudged guilty and you could be resentenced up to the maximum for each charge on the indictment. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
And knowing all this, are you still willing to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that as by pleading guilty, you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights? I'll tell you what they are, after which you can tell me if you understand. The right to trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not to incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at a trial in your case, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and to compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted by these charges after a trial. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, I do.
Has anybody forced you, threatened you, or promised you anything to enter this guilty plea?
No, ma'am.
Is it your decision to waive this right and to enter the plea of guilty as to count 1 on this indictment?
Yes, it is.
How do you plead to the charge of battery family violence on indictment 19 SC?
I plead guilty.
Sorry, let me read the fill. (19 SC 171241). How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
State the indictment again, please, Ms. Holcomb.
19 SC 171241.
Thank you.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntary, given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have only a limited time to appeal this conviction? As to if this is a felony, I know you're getting the first offender, it would be 4 years, but if it's the probation after a misdemeanor, it will be 12 months to file a habeas corpus. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, if this were to go to trial, the state would prove that on or about June 10, 2019 at 7749 Birdsview Drive, South Fulton, Georgia. The defendant, Mr.
Start all over again, please. On about June
10, 2019 at 7749 Birdsview, BIRDSVIEW Drive, South Fulton, Georgia. The defendant, Mr. Williams, and his leaving girlfriend, Miss Erica Lovett, common spelling for Erica, Lovett, Lovett, got into an argument. The argument turned physical, and the defendant punched Miss Lovett. The defendant had previously been convicted of battery family violence in state court. The case number for that is 05CR 302380. And that he pled guilty in state court of the Fulton County of Georgia on September 20th, 2006, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state. I'm sorry.
Ms. Oakham, do you mind telling me one more time what the sentence is? I mean, I understand it's probation, but how long?
Yes, it's time served. It's 5 years on probation, Your Honor. But the probation becomes suspended after 2 years of no violations in completing the family violence intervention program. And he has to have no further violent contact with Ms. Lovett. Now, after he completes the family violence intervention program and has no violations, the remainder of the 2 years can become non-reporting.
Okay, so is there any, how long did he serve? I mean, how long was he in custody?
33 days, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Rock.
He understands that he's taking first offender, and I've explained that to him. Let me just say this. I want to commend Ms. Oakham. I was the one digging in because remember we had that other marijuana case that was holding me off from doing this, and it wasn't moving as quickly as this case was moving. I can't say that I've spoken with the victim. She had communicated with someone from the DA's office that she didn't want to prosecute him. She didn't want to move forward, et cetera, et cetera. She did communicate with me that there's been no problems within the last, that June date of 1919. They do have 9 girls. So he is gainfully employed. He and his mother have started and they look forward to opening, once COVID is over, a real brick and mortar. Suffice it to say that
As far from my computer, and I'm so sorry, this may not be true for everybody else, but you're fading in and out. What's he doing with his mother?
he and his mother have started a business together, Judge. It is a catering service, but once the COVID is over, if it ever ends, they're gonna have a true brick and mortar restaurant.
Wonderful.
So I would ask that the court accept the recommendation, sentence him according to the recommendation, allow it to close out early after successful completion of 2 years in all conditions. Obviously, and Judge, the last portion of that was once he finishes his DVIP, FVIP class, that he could go non-reporting. Obviously, there's to be no further violent contact for the rest of his life, not just for the pendency of the probation, but for the rest of his life. He should not have any further violent contact with any female. So I'd ask the court to follow the recommendation and sentence him accordingly.
All right, thank you. Mr. Williams, I have some questions for you, sir. Did you understand the questions asked of you here today by the Assistant District Attorney?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You understand the rights you're giving up by entering your plea of guilty today?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will, I'm going to ask you some questions about first offender, but even under the first offender, well, I guess it won't count as long as he successfully completes probation. It won't count as a conviction, will it?
No, it won't, Judge. Well, it actually is not even a conviction today because
Okay.
he's entering the plea. The court is accepting the plea, but the court is going to withhold guilt. So,
Okay. And Mr. Williams, you do understand under the first offender that if you violate the terms of your probation, that your first offender status could be revoked. Do you understand that, sir?
Ma'am.
Did you say yes?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And do you understand that you could be found guilty at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
You could be resentenced up to the maximum sentence for each charge. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. And do you feel like you've had plenty of time to talk to your attorney, Ms. Rockwell, about the case?
I have.
Okay.
Fine. I'm going to abide by it.
Okay. And you and Ms. Lovett still together?
Yeah, we have 9 daughters together, but we haven't been living in the same household.
Okay. All right. How old is your youngest daughter?
My youngest baby, Madison, will be 7 November 14th.
7. Okay. And how old's the oldest one?
She just turned 17 June 27th.
All right. Okay. Well, let me just say this, Mr. Williams. I do find that you're entering your plea willingly, freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. I do accept your plea, and I accept it under the first offender status. I do find that there's a sufficient basis, in fact, for the charge presented to the court. And therefore, on one count of battery family violence, the court hereby sentences you to 5 years on probation, subject to the terms and conditions as follows. Number 1, that you take and complete the family violence intervention program.
Yes, ma'am.
After 2 years, provided that, well, once you finish the family violence intervention program, did the lawyers agree that he can go non-reporting after that?
Yes.
Your Honor.
Okay, so as soon as you take and complete that course, you're on non-reporting status as far as the family violence intervention, you're on non-reporting status as far as your probation is concerned. And I would verify that with the probation office. Then, if you go 2 years with no violations of your probation at that point will be suspended. Now, you will have, and I know you're not going to, you will have no further violent contact with Ms. Erica Lovett.
No, ma'am.
In Ms. Rockwell and Ms. Oakham, did I say all of that correctly?
Yes,
That's
Your Honor.
correct.
Okay, now, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Two important things. Number one, you have got to take the Family Violence Intervention Program. It
I
is
will.
part of your sentence. You got to take it. You got to finish it. You got to complete it. As long as you're doing it, get something out of it. Take it in good faith. You're going to have to sit there. So you might as well listen to what they're saying, because that program, if you've got 9 girls, if you got 9 children to feed and take care of, you're going to get something out of that program. And it's tailored. I could get something out of it. And it's tailored to help all of us meet the daily stress of child rearing, being in a relationship, et cetera, being in a family. That's exactly what it is. So as long as you've got to take it, go ahead and get something out of it. Take it in good faith. And secondly, with 9 daughters, you know good and well those girls are only going to do what they see their parents do.
Yes, ma'am. I do know that.
Okay. And so you and your mom seem to be getting along together. Make sure that when those girls, when you're walking them down the aisle, or when they're being my boss, however they turn out, that they are so proud of their dad. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything further? Oh,
I
can I
need his,
everybody's name on the indictment? Can I sign your name, Ms. Rockwell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can I sign your name, Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I sign your name, Ms. Oakham?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I also need his phone number, email address, and address to give to probation.
So can you send those